You are invited on an adventure across all of time and space, in a completely random order. It's the Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. Jump in the TARDIS with your hosts,
Eric Gulbranson,
Asad Kheshki,
and
Matthew Kressel.
Explore Doctor Who TV stories, audio adventures, and books, both novels and non-fiction. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. It's the entire Whoniverse on shuffle. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast is a member of the Direction Point Network and is available about once a month wherever you find your podcasts. You are listening to the Doctor Who Gives a Fuck podcast on the Direction Point Doctor Who Podcast Network. A drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
Hello and welcome to Doctor Who Gives a Fuck, a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times. This is JB in Nolans.
This is Sean in Austin.
Und ich bin ein Christopher.
I would say that was a bad accent, but it was not as bad as Neil Patrick Harris's.
I've heard worse recently.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Sounds like there's a story behind that.
No, just referring to NPH.
Oh, yes. Anyway, we're reunited and it feels so good. We're all three
reunited and it feels so good.
And it goes with ice. How nice. Yeah, all you millennials are not going to get that reference. Like we have any millennials listening to this podcast.
Yeah, it's all grumpy old men like us.
With their avocado toast.
Jesus Christ.
Just kidding. I love millennials. Most of my friends are millennials.
I've never had avocado toast.
I haven't either. My wife and kids love it, though.
Yeah, Darlene will order that occasionally.
I just don't trust avocados. They're only good for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and then it's like, fuck you, avocados. I paid a lot of money for you.
I know. I'll buy them and Darlene, are you going to eat these? Yes. And then they'll still be in the fridge like 20 days later and they're like just putrefying. And it's like, God damn it. You said you're going to eat these fucking things. And I got to throw them out.
They're rock hard for fucking ever.
Yes.
And then for about 5 to 10 seconds, they soften up and they're green and delicious. And then they just turn into brown fucking gunk.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to segue that into. How are we going to do this? Are we going to do one at a time of these 3 episodes, or are we just going to
I think we're just going to freeform it. I mean, we'll kind of go in order. So yes, we have just. It's been a week ago since this all finished, but we have gone through 3 60th anniversary Doctor Who specials, and. Well, some of us have already kind of chimed in on it because Sean has done 2 episodes of Mostly Harmless Cutaway. I don't know if you've done a third. Yeah. Okay, the third one is not out yet as the time of this recording. And I was a guest on Caffeinated Comics this week talking a bit about the specials, but I didn't really get too deep, mainly because I just kept getting off the subject and just talking about other things, and I just sort of glossed over my thoughts, but I didn't really get to form coherent thoughts and ideas, and I hope I can do so right now, but I'm on my second cocktail, so I'm going to try my best. I think, Chris, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Okay, so start at the beginning with Star Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Start with things I liked about it. I liked that they kind of the cheesy, pulpy comic book vibe to the whole episode. The fucking, what did they call them? The psychedelic sun soldiers.
Yeah.
I was loving that. That just had such like a 50s, 60s kind of vibe, sci-fi kind of vibe to it. And that aspect of it was pretty fun. I feel like we have to be really careful going through these episodes.
And why is that?
Well, like, for example, the other day I was on Facebook and made some comment to the effect of, I didn't think Jodie Whittaker's acting was very good as the Doctor. Instantly, I'm accused of being a right-winger and anti-woke and
really
misogynist and all this shit. And it's like, no, I don't have a problem with her being a woman. I just don't think she did a great job.
Okay, whatever, groomer.
Right. But I loved having Donna back. I was looking forward to seeing Donna come back. I don't think I realized fully how much I missed Donna until she was there.
Yeah, Donna and David Tennant both. It just felt like we were back in the mid to late 2000s watching Series 4 Doctor Who, which is they effortlessly picked up where they left off. And I kept waiting to see like any nuances from Tennant, because they were saying that his performance was going to be different, and this is going to distinguish him as the 10th Doctor from him as the 14th. And honestly, I just didn't get that at all. He was just David Tennant, a little older. I'm stopped using the number system altogether. It's the David Tennant Doctor. He just had like or his second or third go round. And I'm not buying a 14th Doctor action figure because he's already in my cabinet.
I've already got that one.
Yeah, don't need another.
I was loving the story up until the point where they resolved the meta crisis.
Oh, okay.
With Don and Rose.
Yes.
I really dug the whole idea. It's like, oh, okay, you had a kid, so you passed on part of that to her. That's like, okay, that's pretty clever. That's a good way of handling this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking through the whole episode of, you know how paranoid I've been about the quote unquote Disneyfication of Doctor Who.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, there's been some changes, and I got a couple things right, like, here's our cute little fucking alien thing and all this shit, and there's a couple of the things there, and I'm like, yeah, it's there, but it's okay, he's the villain of the week, he'll go away. Then they get to the scene where Donna and Rose are letting it go, let it go. And they're like, I seriously expected to hear them break out into Let It Go there for a minute. Mm-hmm. They were just hammering that fucking line so hard, and then they're like oozing pixie dust all over the place. And poor Shirley, the unit science director that's in a wheelchair, is sitting there like they made her the animal companion. Like she's just sitting there next to him, blowing pixie dust off him, and I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah, I was like, was she trying to I don't know, get high off of stuff?
Yeah, I remember
shot now. I remember that shot now because I've watched this one twice. I've watched the Giggle twice. I've only watched the second one once. But she was. I don't know if she was trying to suck in or blow or being cute, or she was trying to get high off of it.
She was blowing it away or whatever. But I'm like, that looked totally like the shot you would expect, like the little fucking funny monkey or parrot companion to the princess to be doing.
Maybe she was going, ooh.
And then they show Rose dramatically staring off in the distance with this sunlit glow behind her in a fucking steel refinery. And oh my god, it was so fucking over the top. And then they jump on jump on the Doctor about, this is something a male presenting Time Lord wouldn't understand. It's like, he was a woman like 12 fucking hours ago, guys.
Mm-hmm.
He spent more time as a woman than both of you fucking combined.
And Donna should have known that, because we learn later on that she kind of shares all of his memories from when they last, parted.
Right.
Well, no, but she wouldn't know about the 13th Doctor being a woman.
Yeah, she would have. She would have. She would have. She would have remembered because the brief moment when they were Dr. Donner again, and then later on they have this. I mean, in the next episode they had this conversation about she remembers what happened to him.
Okay.
She said, "I was in your head and I saw everything."
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
But going back to the comment about, oh, you're just a white man. What are you supposed? What was it that she says? I can't remember. But
I wouldn't expect a male presenting Time Lord to understand.
Yeah,
this.
that was kind of because I watched for that line the second time around, and I think you could play it off as like, oh, that's just a throwaway line. You're just going to say that just to be funny or clever or whatever. But we know with Russell T Davies, he likes to push everyone's buttons.
And I think it would have been appropriate if the Doctor came back with a quip about that, about the fact that not 12 hours.
Bitch, please,
And they just glaze over it, like, dude, I'm not going to stand for. Come on, let's not be all that.
Yeah. I want to see the missing scene where who's the name of the wheelchair unit scientific advisor? What's her name?
Shirley.
I want to see the scene where, like, after Shirley sucks in some of the regenerative energy, she tries to get up with her wheelchair and then just completely collapses.
Maybe that's why she was walking around in episode 3.
Well, yeah. She crosses
some of that good regeneration dust.
Right. Well, I think she's not fully paralyzed because you see her cross her legs in the Star Beast. Mm-hmm. So she's not completely paralyzed, but for some reason, and apparently this character is actually originated from Big Finish.
I think she has legs that haven't grown all the way. I don't think she has problems with the muscles, but the muscles are because they're so small. That's my guess. I don't know.
When I used to work at a disability for the state, I used to go rounds with doctors over this shit. They'd say, well, they can walk, but they're in a wheelchair, but they can't. They do a walking test on the physical where you get up and you walk like 10 feet. And it's like, there are plenty of people that are in a wheelchair that can get up and walk around for a few minutes, but that's just it. It's just a few minutes. And most jobs, you're not going to be able to go to work and get away with just being able to walk about 10 minutes out of every hour.
Yeah. That's my mom.
It's usually, it's like, okay, Shirley can get up and, walk across the room maybe, but I don't see her doing it real fast or, lots of fall risk, all that shit. Not going to be able to sustain it. And so it's like you can be in a wheelchair. Just because a person's in a wheelchair doesn't mean they cannot fucking stand up.
Right, exactly.
You know what? This is such a bunny trail, but that kind of brings me to mind of, and Chris, I don't know, did we talk about this last time? Did the three of us record together last time?
No.
Or was it just you and me, JB?
It was just you and I.
Okay.
You're thinking about the children in need thing.
Davros, and the fact that he wasn't in a wheelchair.
I wish I hadn't missed that.
And RTD says, well, I don't think it would be appropriate to have a villain in a wheelchair.
It's like, dude, you're missing the fucking point.
Yeah.
You don't look at it as him being a wheelchair. You look at it as he's fucking half a Dalek. And he must have done something to himself to get him in that situation. And
I don't think it's canon, but it's strongly suggested that like he did this to himself through experimentation and shit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. He wanted to kind of advance because all the colloids were supposed to be genetically mutating, and he sort of accelerated the process on himself, and that's what happened to him. And that's why he's half a fucking Dalek. And now we've got Russell T Davies saying, oh, this is going to be Davros from now on, because I don't think people in wheelchairs should be evil. And it's just like, for fuck's sake, come on.
I would think if I was in a wheelchair, I'd find Davros kind of empowering. It's like, even though he's...
Exactly.
Even though he's in a wheelchair, he still managed to create this super race that fucking almost destroys the galaxy on an episodely basis,
God forbid RTD ever did like a remake of Doctor Strangelove, for fuck's sake. That's all I'm saying. So the Star Beast I found very enjoyable. I mean, It didn't. Well, it kind of did stray a bit from because I do remember the original comic book that the story was based off, and I do like the fact that they did credit the writer and the artist in the opening credits. You don't really get that often in like the big blockbuster DC and Marvel films. They kind of get shunted into like the back credits, and like you have to like squint to see them. But the comic book geek in me was very heartened to see that. I think it was Pat Mills who wrote the story originally, and Dave Gibbons who drew the story and went on to become famous for drawing The Watchmen.
Yeah, and they got on the title card.
They got on the title card, and that made me feel. It gave me a warm feeling inside. It really did. I think the bit where, and this is kind of funny because Darlene's watching it with me, and she's not familiar with the comic or anything like that, and she didn't say anything at the time, but she said as soon as Beep the Meep came on screen, she's like, I know that guy was going to be evil.
I knew because I actually read the comic, but
right, yeah. exactly, and I've heard the Big Finish audios that I'm sorry, not he, not she, but the Meep, the Meep was featured in, and I think the Meep's turn just kind of, it was a little bit clunky because Tenant notices the ray guns weren't on full strength, and he noticed that this unit guard was not dead, and so he literally stops the action, pulls out a fucking judge's wig, and holds court, and we get it through clunky exposition that the Meep is evil instead of the shock turn where, there's a point where we know in the comic story, we know that this little fucker is evil, but the other characters don't. So that creates a little bit of tension there, and that tension is completely lost now. And then the second the fucker turns evil, their uncanny valley is in full effect there, because they go from an actual practical effect, a puppet or animatronic, to completely CGI. And it's like, this is not the same person. This is not the same Meep as before.
I see why they did it, though, because as a villain, his face is so much more exaggerated, like more so than you can effectively do with a puppet, really.
I think it would have been clever and neat to still have him look like a little kitty and spouting all these evil,
right.
Things.
Still have the squeaky voice and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the person who did the Meep's voice on Big Finish, I think there were two actors. There were actually two Beat the Meep ones. There was actually a freebie that was done. That was a sequel to the Star Beast that featured Colin Baker. It was called The Ratings War. Have you ever heard that one?
Yep, I've heard that.
It's really cool because it kind of it has a lot of commentary about reality television. And then they did an actual audio adaptation of the Star Beast with Tom Baker. And I think it was a different actor playing the Meep. But
it's pretty good, as I recall, too.
Yeah, it was, and they were pretty faithful to the thing. And the thing about, Rose. Okay, yeah, she's a teenager in high school. Yeah, right.
yeah, I'm not buying that. How old? I forget the actor's name now.
I think she's like 20, I think. But she's standing there next to her friend Pugsley, or whatever his name is, and he's
right. And he's fucking tiny next to her.
His balls haven't dropped yet, and
Jesus Christ.
And hers has, okay? Quite literally, in fact.
Careful, cancel button is there.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I just canceled myself.
right.
All right, but the whole, I mean, that's just okay. I mean, I guess they did because like, oh fuck, we only got so much time left, and we gotta move this along. So I think they could have.
Yeah.
I think he could have done it a little bit better than that.
I mean, it's kind of a Doctor Who tradition having a companion that's, you know, playing a young girl that's not exactly a young girl.
Right. Although I think Millie Gibson, I mean, she is only 18, so they actually have an age appropriate actress for the role of whatever kind of character Ruby Sunday is going to be. But that's
Well, at least they gave us some good Milfy Donna Noble before we got to that.
Oh yes, I know, Chris. I know you were just like, I was watching this. It's like, oh yeah, Chris is in heaven right now. Yeah, I felt
love
sorry.
her right down to her terrible haircut.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I felt sorry for her mom because her mom was just like, you know, this nothing is real. Don't look, and it's just like, okay.
I know. I love how they made her like the analog of like the fucking boomer, basically. Like, none of this is real.
I came into this. I kind of knew it was based off of another story. I wasn't sure if it was a comic or if it was Big Finish, but whatever. So I came in completely uninitiated, and I wasn't looking forward to seeing this stupid meat thing. I was like, I hate that. I saw a picture, and I'm like, I hate that. Like the porgs in those Star Wars movies. You know, they always have to put in, or fucking Groot. I am Groot. Stop it. Shut up.
I hope the Pating eats you.
You know, but then again, I still recite Kids from the Hall shit, thinking it's funny, and then everybody looks at each other like, what the hell's wrong with him? Like 3 minutes into this thing, and I'm going to say this about all three specials in general, it felt really, really great to have RTD back. This stuff is painted in exactly the same tone as the RTD stuff that we saw back when Tenant was on the show.
Yeah.
And even better is that because it's later in time and technology and they have more money and blah, 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 it looks cinematic. Like, we could have watched like 3 movies here. It looks that polished. It looks that good. And for me, it is that's let down by things in the earlier series. I can't think of any specific. Well, the Slitheen, obviously, but
The adipose.
The adipose is a good example. But I never got that here except for when the Meep got angry. I think I sat here watching it with like a smile on my face, not a big, huge smile, because I was just kind of happy. And it's not the best episode or anything like that.
No,
but it was like a fucking masterpiece compared to what we've got over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's it exactly. That's it exactly.
The bar is really fucking low.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
And I think I suspect if this came out during the RTD years when everybody was really tired of him, maybe we would have hated it. I don't know. That's something that only time will tell.
Yeah, I do. So. I mean, I don't know if he had this all planned or whatever. I very much doubt it. But I mean, he had like 12 years to write himself out of the hole, which was, you know, Donna forgetting the Doctor, and you know, if she were to ever remember him, you know, she will die. And I mean, I think the resolution of that, I didn't see it coming. I probably should have, but when she started going binary, and like, it's, you know, my kid is non-binary, therefore she can take it, and then it's like, yeah, and then the thing about, you don't let it go, and that kind of is like an overall theme to Tenant coming back, and we'll touch on that when we get to the third story.
I didn't feel like when they originally did the Dr. Donna back in RTD1, and she got stuck on that binary. I don't think they had it planned that this is where they were going to go with that. Maybe they did, but I just thought it was really clever that he either way, whether he knew he might want to do something like that later, or if he just went back and went, oh, you know what, I'm gonna grab this and make this the fucking trick.
Yes.
Either way, that's pretty goddamn clever. Like,
he's very
I did not see
as a
that
writer. Yeah, I mean, that's just like, oh my god, you feel like you should have seen it coming. You really should have, but just that's how good a writer he is. Yes, because I mean, we have like spent the last 3 years rewriting Chibnall, and I mean, RTD is just in a different dimension from both Chibnall as a writer and us, kind of quarterbacking and writing these things after the fact.
And one other RTD praise. It's so nice to see like actual character development again, instead of them just throwing a character in and doing an expo dump to tell you who they are and what they're about, and maybe a couple of quippy fucking lines, and that's all the character development you get. You actually see like the Doctor developing, and Donna kind of changing, and Rose, and everybody has a little bit of development along the way. And
yeah, we even get a few minutes.
Nice to have that back.
We even get a few minutes with Sean, her husband, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
In the taxi cab.
Sean's
yeah,
cool.
He's a cool guy.
I like when he walks into the chaos and it's just like, dinner smells good. I feel like that like every day. Like, I sleep during the day because I'm working night shift these days, and I come walking up out of my room and shit's flying, the kids are going nuts, my wife looks like she's ready to fall over, and it's like, oh, dinner smells good. I can totally feel that vibe.
And Tori's like, you just don't understand, you're presenting, I just want to let it all go.
No, she oh right. Yeah. No, usually she's just like, your turn, I'm going to bed.
Tag, you're it.
Yeah.
Oh, tag. Shit, that was Jody's last line. Fuck.
Oh, fuck it. Totally forgot that.
So what about
everyone else?
So did anybody else feel like it was kind of superfluous to have the whole damn family there witnessing everything?
A little bit, yeah.
You had the mom. You had Rose, of course. Rose did stuff, but some of those other people, okay, we don't need them here. Why are they here? It's dangerous to have. I don't know. I guess he does that. Let's bring Martha's family aboard the Master. Yeah.
Everybody's always on hand for the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole famdamly.
But we have special number 2, which was kind of like a two-hander there almost. Kind of the except for the
very. Figure out what that means for just a second.
Well, just for the most part, it only has Donna and the Doctor.
Oh, okay. Because I thought. Okay, because when you say two-hander, I thought,
and
the hands
and a horse in a spacesuit, but they didn't have any lines.
Okay, a horse in a space. Oh, that's right, the horse in the spacesuit. Was it a horse?
Captain.
Yes.
It had
a
very
that's right.
Horse-like skull.
Yes. Okay, I remember that now. Yes, I remember that, and a very slow robot, and a beginning pre-title sequence, which was totally fucking unnecessary. The whole Isaac Newton thing.
Oh yeah,
but
that served no purpose whatsoever. If I swear to God, if one of you says the word gravity and replaces the G with an M, I'm going to throw things.
Here is the gun with the bullet in it. Take me out to the rabbits and shoot me in the head. I will never use the word mavity. It just I could see people going to cons and making ribbons that say mavity on it, and it's like, no,
fucking slap their faces. If someone tries to give me a fucking mavity ribbon, I will fucking slap them.
But you can't because they're 14. What?
I did like that joke. I liked that joke. I mean, it was like dad joke quality. It's like, this is so fucking cheesy and bad, it's funny.
Okay.
I think they did it well.
I have weird tastes.
David and Catherine did it well. It's a dumb joke. It's a dad joke, of course, but
yeah.
it could not have worked. I mean, it could have been really funny somehow, but I can't figure out how.
But of course, I mean, what fucking ticks me out was the fact that they cast a non-white as Sir Isaac Newton. And I'm sorry, it just fucking took me out because okay, I can see why a lot of people scream woke, the show is woke because I'm sorry, I don't think Sir Isaac Newton was whatever flavor of I don't know if the guy was Indian or
I think he was Indian.
He was Indian, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the point?
I think that it's not, if it was just that RTD wasn't hammering it over the head like he was this wokeness. He was already hammering us over the head with it in the first episode, and
hard.
These little things. My friend Josh had a very strong opinion that RTD is trolling people who are not woke.
Oh my God! Yes, I heard
absolutely.
that. No, I heard. I mean, he wrote a whole fucking diatribe. He literally. I heard the episode of Mostly Harmless Cutaway, and he had a fucking manifesto all prepared, and it was. I think Josh is taking it a little too personal.
Yeah, well, we thought. Yeah, but the thing is, the things that he mentioned the line about male appearing. That line, the one we were talking about. There's another one in The Wild Blue Yonder where he's like, "Oh yeah, he was cute. Oh yeah, am I this person now? Oh, okay." That one went right over my head because I wasn't watching it, or maybe I was watching it with subtitles, and I wasn't drunk. Thank you very much. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we never heard about the Doctor's sexuality. I mean, these are all valid points, and there's just like it's being crammed into each, and I'm going to get all of this in as soon as I can before I have to give the pen to someone else.
I did like that little scene though. I liked Donna's retort to that. Because, he's like, oh, well, maybe that's what I am now. Maybe that was always there right below the surface. And she's like, yeah, not real far below the surface. And that I missed the first time I watched it. I was paying attention, but I didn't catch that scene because they kind of mumble it and they run through it real quick. And I was like,
yeah,
I'll pick that up later. And then when I watched it with subtitles, I saw what they were saying. I was like, oh, fuck, that's pretty funny, actually. But I don't mind so much all the quote unquote wokeness, like how many shows have we had to endure that had like a white pharaoh or a white Native American or, blackface, all that kind of shit. It's like,
Talents of Wing Chang. Chang. Yeah, they couldn't find a natural Chinese actor to play that role.
To be fair, we've kind of got it coming.
I guess so, but I tell you what, though, there's something that I saw today. Apparently, in this new series that's going to be coming up after the holidays, the Doctor is going to meet the Beatles.
I heard that, yeah.
And okay, if he casts non-Liverpudlian white men as the Beatles, I am going to go fucking apeshit.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Well, non-Liverpudlian, is that what you just said?
No, yes. If he's going to do it, it's going to be like George is Chinese and Ringo's black and yeah.
Oh, no, they're not. Please, they're not. That might be it. I don't think I'll be able to. I'll just listen to Verity.
You're gonna be able to hear me from screaming all the way from New Orleans to Austin to Springfield, Illinois, if they do that.
Well, I think at least on these specials, and one thing we have to keep in mind is these are specials, and traditionally the specials are always a little more out there than the regular season stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As far as being more fantastical and looser storylines and shit like that. I think RTD walked into this with a big chip on his shoulder because, when they, at the end of season 13, regenerates into David Tennant, and there was a big outcry of, oh God, he's just pandering to the fucking bigots. He's trying to win them back by bringing back one of their old favorites and all this shit. And I'm pretty sure he wanted to come out the gates and make it clear that he's not fucking pandering to those guys.
No, what he was doing was basically, okay, I gotta get everyone back because everyone,
Yeah.
I mean everyone, left the show.
Yeah,
everyone just stopped watching, and it's like I gotta get everyone back, and this is the only way I can do it.
Everyone except perhaps Christopher Eccleston. Was it you guys that sent me that?
What?
I guess not. I think it was somebody. Okay, yeah. Christopher Eccleston appeared with Billy Piper and maybe one other star. But anyway, they asked him. He was at some convention or film fest or whatever, and they asked him, what would it take to get you to come back to Doctor Who? And he said, first of all, no punches pulled here. First of all, fire Russell T Davies, fire Julie Gardner, fire
Phil Collinson,
fire a couple other people I'd never heard of. I'm like,
whoa. And those are all the people who are now running the show again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm not saying that Eccleston was directly involved, but you really do smell blood in the water about this. That maybe, despite how woke RTD is coming from, this has a really icky origin story.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Do you think that RTD is trying to make up for that?
Sorry, I just saw the bit with Shirley blowing the. I never noticed it, and when you guys brought it up, and I'm like, okay, I'm watching out for it. I'm like, okay, and she's just like, it looks
it's so fucking cheesy.
A Summer's Eve commercial or something. I don't know. It really does look like a Disney princess type.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Oh, I would be so fucking angry if I was an actress. Fucking put that in there.
I know. I'd be like, guys.
It's like, how does he get directed to this? It's like, what's my motivation here? What am I doing here? What? Why? What?
You think if anything, being the big scientist, you'd be trying to like fucking breathe that. I'd be trying to breathe it in. Like, give me some of that doctor energy. Shit,
man. Yeah. I said, yeah. So like, I can walk. No, I can't. Thud.
Where was I? Oh.
We were talking about Eccleston and his demand. His terms.
So yeah, the icky backstory probably it'll all come out in 50 years. We might be dead when they have the 100th anniversary, and instead of an adventure in time and space, it'll be like all the drama. There'll be Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant will be in it, and RTD will be in it. I mean, people playing them, of course, but that's what I'm going to do. Well, I'll be told to work on it, but if I manage to get reincarnated and get in there, I'll try to make a movie out of that.
Maybe you'll bi-generate.
Too soon. We're not there yet.
Maybe I can do it. George Miller's making the Mad Max movies, and he's like 89. That's how old I would be. 88, 89. Wow. Fuck, I could be fucking president. I'm really underselling myself, thinking
you're a little young to be president at that point, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, aside from the whole beginning, which I think was superfluous and was just not needed at all, because we thought, okay, is this going to affect the timeline? And it's like, no, it's not. It's not going to. It's got nothing to do with anything. So I think for me, this is the least interesting of the specials for me, because it's trying to be. I think it's trying to be a cross between Midnight and Heaven Sent, and I mean, we get some nice exposition about what the Doctor went through, and we actually touch on the Chibnall bullshit, the timeless child, the flux.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot exactly what he said, but I saw something, a headline saying that RTD explained the whole timeless child thing with one line, and it was much better than what Chris Chibnall did in 2 seasons of Doctor Who.
I don't feel like it was explained. I will say, yes, he absolutely did a better job of explaining it, but I still don't feel like I fucking understand what the hell happened.
Well, what he actually did a better job with is that he had the Doctor feel and know that his actions had consequences.
Yeah, fair.
When Jodie did what she did and wiped out half the universe, she was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. All right, go on. Let's move on.
Had to be done.
It had to be done. But Tennant has feelings about it, and he's like, I can't even process this. I wiped out half the fucking universe. And it's just like, finally, I just felt like Jodie Whittaker never had any repercussions from any actions she took, whether it be wiping out half the universe or wiping the memories of those 2 characters in Spyfall.
And let's not forget committing full genocide on 3 different races.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, it never takes because yeah,
but still.
And I gotta go back and watch some of this shit. I gotta stop.
No,
you don't. No, you don't.
No.
You've still not watched 13?
No, I've watched it all. I've got it. I've bought the T-shirt.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I can't. Yeah.
No, I will never watch Flux ever again. There's no way I'm not going to sit through that again. But I do appreciate
just a little tiny bit better than I expected it to be. But I'll just leave it at that because I don't have things to say about it.
Yeah, I do appreciate that we're not completely ignoring it. That we're not going to really touch on it. And I mean, we'll get to it in the third story. But I mean. Aside from that,
they're going somewhere with it.
They are, yeah. Well, I think they went somewhere with it, but I mean, as far as the second story, it was kind of cool when we kept switching scenes from David and Catherine Tate to David and Catherine Tate, and for a second, it's like, wait a minute, are we watching something out of sequence? And then, like by the second or third cutaway, it's like, oh, okay,
mm-hmm.
He's not real, she's not real.
Yeah, I thought they were just out of sequence scenes.
Yes.
I knew what was going on. It's like, okay, because you were initially meant to think that, they threw you off, and then you have kind of a big aha about 2 seconds before it starts to get creepy.
Right. You got it at the exact right moment.
I love that. I thought that's writer, director, editor working all together in sync. And I think that's why a lot of people bring this up and compare it with Midnight, even though there's not a lot in the plot. I mean, it's just some people stuck in a spaceship. In this case, it's only 2 people, well, maybe more, in a larger spaceship. In Midnight, it was
2 people, a robot, and some unknown entity that takes the form of the 2 of them. And and their arms are too big, and their faces are fucked up, and then they grow, and then they get stuck, and everything. And I think the visual effects only worked, I think, maybe 30% of the time.
Oh, sir. Oh.
Still, when in Doctor Who history could you imagine them even trying to do effects like that?
I'm sorry, it was only like a step above the fucking recycling bin attacking Mickey.
It was better than that.
I think it was
not
better.
By much.
The thing is that it was ridiculous. But before that scene, you did have a lot of like suspense building up. Like there's something going on. You don't know
why is this robot moving so slowly. There's got to be a reason for it.
And when that chase thing down the hallway, I think the bit where they're gigantic and like he's grabbing after the car, which reminded me very much of Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was, true or not. And then it does look a little silly when fake Tenant and fake Catherine Tate both get stuck like they're like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
But that's, it's before that, it's the juxtaposition of it being so dreadful. And then all of a sudden it gets a little bit Roger Rabbit-y.
Yeah.
Because in this scene where Bob Hoskins goes to Toontown, if it was physics, he doesn't get out of there alive,
Right.
It's kind of the reverse of that, I think.
And I think the second episode was just a setup for the third.
Maybe. I liked that it was a vehicle for the Doctor and Donna. And I liked that. I don't think we've had that before.
No.
I can't think of a lot of episodes, classic or new, where it was just the two. This time, it's not technically just the two characters, but maybe just the two actors.
I mean, we had the Edge of Destruction. We had part one of the Mine Robber. We had Heaven Sent. And
that one with Doctor and Amy, where she's like a ninja and shit.
The Girl Who Waited.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That was. Oh no, I think Rory's in a couple scenes in that one, but
he's in it. He's in it because he's basically begging the Doctor to we need to save both of them.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
and then
it's a three-hander.
Okay, I'll do it, and then it's like, no, I can't, and just like and he explains why, and that was like the most doctory moment that Matt Smith had, and I was standing up applauding at that point.
I really you guys didn't like the slow robot thing and all that, and
I didn't say I don't like it. I didn't say that. I didn't say that either.
Okay.
I mean, no, it was kind of like, okay, there's something about this. Why is this robot acting so slow? And we're just kind of like wondering about it, and then when we get it, it's like, okay, yeah, okay.
But here's what I appreciated about that whole thing. Like during the RTD era, and I'm specifically thinking of the whole astronaut story arc with River Song and the silence.
Well, that was Moffat, that in RTD.
Yeah, yes, that was Moffat, and okay. He put all this creepy shit in there. And then a lot of it was just left completely unexplained, or the explanation didn't make sense. And what little was explained was just explained in a very hand-wavy fashion.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now back to RTD in Wild Blue Yonder, it's like Moffat would just throw that creepy robot in just for the sake of having a creepy fucking robot in.
Yeah.
RTD, there's actually a reason that you will discover later why this creepy robot's walking so slow and why this fucking booming, mysterious voice is saying gibberish. It's like he actually takes the time to explain why that shit happens, and it's actually important to the story. Whereas Moffat would just be like, oh, that was just, the silence went back in time and did a thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, which increases its rewatchability.
Right.
You can't say the same for most of what Moffat did when he was running the show, because it's just like, oh, I see. I don't understand what he was doing, or I see what he was doing. He was setting up something which was a complete letdown.
But I actually, this was my favorite of the 3 episodes.
Really?
Me too. Yes. Me too. Yes.
Because it was totally standalone. You could have removed it from the other 2, and it wouldn't have affected that story or the other stories. The wokeness stuff was still there, but it wasn't like the whole point of the story necessarily. It was just part of it. The story, goofy as it was, at least made sense in some level that I actually understood by the end of the story, and it made some kind of sense. I mean, sense being relative in Doctor Who terms, but there was at least some kind of fucking legitimate explanation for it. And I liked that. And the effects weren't great I mean, if we saw those same effects 10 years ago, we'd probably be impressed. But, you know,
yeah. But since
Doctor
Disney
Who's
is fronting,
always been behind the curve on that
right,
shit.
but since Disney's fronting the bill, you expect a little more, I think. And I'll admit that.
I think if the show takes off, they'll get it. But yeah, it was just a nice, the whole fucking universe wasn't at stake. Or, well, I guess it was, but yeah.
It's just another one of those, okay, there's this strange, like, ethereal creature that wants to manifest itself in our universe, and we got to do everything in our power to stop it, which is like, those kind of plots really kind of bore me to death.
And it was legitimately creepy. Like, the shit with, my arms are too long. You can tell David Tennant was having...
out.
I
was creeped out.
Many adults are going to be actually creeped out,
I was a little creeped out, I have to admit, with that at first, not like right away, or it didn't last, but
whether it succeeds,
body horror is a thing.
Yeah, I appreciate
body horror done well, I think, is a thing, but it's just like, okay, they just like took this image and stretched it,
This isn't
they photoshopped it. No.
You know
what this reminds me?
This episode was the budget dump episode.
Yeah.
This was the one when they needed more money for the finale. They took it from this episode.
Yeah.
The storyline, however, reminds me like what happens in the story, and it just seems so improbable. It kind of reminds me of one of those more recent little hardcover New Adventures. That's kind of what it reminds me of. If you think about like just the whole thing about, fake Doctor and fake Donna running down the hallway and getting bigger and bigger. There's some shit that I've read in those books that I would never.
Yeah. The story had kind of a Seventh Doctor and Benny vibe to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about the New Adventures, the ones after that, the ones with Eccleston and Tennant in them.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. You went like that, I thought, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have to pour one out for old Wilf because he gets his final appearance at the end of this.
Oh, toast to Wilf.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of shed a tear. Darlene was like, "Oh, there's Wilf. Oh, I'm glad they didn't kill him off," because she was afraid that they were going to kill him off because she knew that the actor died. And
yep. Nope, he's a mole slayer now.
I don't know. It's a little bit different from Elizabeth Sladen. I kind of figure if you're 96 years old and you die, I don't think exactly we should be all that surprised. But yeah. I get it. We're not going to see the character anymore on screen.
I think it's more like Tennant's reaction to seeing Wilf again. That really got me.
Absolutely, yes.
He even says in the story piece that, I love that man.
Well, he should. He literally died for him.
Yeah. I'm back, so we're all good now. Okay.
Yeah, it's all even. We're cool. We're cool.
And it was
but
nice.
Look, don't lock the fucking door behind you, all right, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Wilf.
God,
damn it. I gotta it had to be you, really? You're gonna die in 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's too bad Bernard Cribbins didn't hang on long enough to play it a little longer. You could totally make that a thing, like where every time the Doctor says something to piss him off, he just like knocks on his chair 4 times. Come get me, bitch.
Yeah.
Give him a bell like in Breaking Bad.
I killed you once, motherfucker.
So, yeah, that was very nice. I was expecting it to be more hokey, but it wasn't that hokey.
No, it was a nice button to the episode.
It was organic too. They didn't try to force it into being a big moment because it was going to be anyways. I feel like Moffat would have like fucking mushroom stamped the shit out of that scene and had Murray Gold playing way too fucking loudly over it. And
yeah, I was just gonna say,
it's gonna be raining and fucking Tennant's fucking spikes are gonna be dripping and
Oh, his spikes.
His spikes. I have seen a series of memes where people just take cuts, like pick grabs from the fucking episodes, and they like extend his hair spikes to like ridiculous fucking proportions.
See, that's what they should have done in the episode. They should just have his hair growing, and he can be like Medusa and just grab them by the hair.
And that title card, or not title card, but the cards at the beginning of the first episode, we totally blanked on that, where he's standing out in space and, you know, giving you the backstory and shit, which wasn't really necessary, but yeah, it was necessary for.
Well, it was
some
for
of the,
the people who are going to stumble onto this on Disney Plus and
probably right
and not have not watched any Doctor Who, so you have to have a little bit of. Now,
who's this Donna chick?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when he popped up on that, I'm like, oh my god, your hair, dude. It was like, just like your attention just immediately goes to this fucking tower he has sticking up his head.
It really also, it gave me, I don't know, it fucked with me that he would only button the top part of his vest. And
my wife was bitching about that too.
Number one, it messes up, because who does that? Number two,
a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Really?
Yeah. It's fucking annoying.
Even if they're not a fatty.
Yeah, that just looks like me trying to wear an extra large vest.
Yeah, I'd be like, the vest is coming off.
Yeah.
There's a guy at work, of course, he's probably like 29 years old. He always wears a vest, and it drives me crazy. I'm like, oh, it's the guy with the fucking vest.
The last time I wore, I wore something that buttoned on the front was I was dressed up as Tom Baker for Halloween.
Me too. Yes.
And I had like a red sort of a cardigan, not cardigan, but he had like a red sweater with like a tartan pattern in the front, kind of like what he had in his first season. And we went out to a club, and they had the thing where they had like the photographer and like the backdrop, and you can like post for photos, and then she posts them online like the next day or whatever. And like two of my buttons are like completely open, like a white, button down shirt underneath, and it's just sticking out. Like, yes. I'm delivering a baby via C-section there.
I'd rather go shirtless.
Yeah, now it's like, I see people wear stuff like that, like in court, and I'm like, how could you be wearing that? If I had to wear that, like assuming we got one big enough, I would be sweating my fucking balls off.
Right, but I think wasn't there a line that Donna said that basically that
yes.
You're too old to try to pull something off because you can barely,
she said
that vest.
I remember the line because I thought it was hilarious. She said, "You can wear a look like that until you're 35 and then no more."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a nice little piss take. And it's like, oh, she doesn't even remember you're the Doctor, and she's still fucking taking you down a peg.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow time travelers, and welcome to the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, the only podcast to discuss, in story order, all the Doctor Who novelizations. My name is Tony Whitt, and every 2 weeks or so, I'm joined by a 2 to 3 person discussion panel, including our so-called expert who's been a Who fan since 1979. That would be me. We also get the views of intermediate, casual, and novice fans who either have never seen the show or who have never read these books until these podcasts, including
Dalton Hughes
and
Alison Fitz-Seyfried.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find good podcasts, or even ones like ours. You're listening to the Doctor Who Gives a Fuck podcast. Enjoy your travels.
Shall we move on to the giggle?
Yes, let's move on to the giggle.
Can we just get this out of the way?
Yes.
Do it. I know where you're going.
Let's just talk about a good thing. Let's just say that the best thing in this episode was Neil Patrick Harris. He delivered in spades. Oh, I hear some grunting.
No, I'm not grunting. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. He put on a phenomenal performance. He was very, I mean, yeah, the accents were iffy, but that was the point because he's not from our universe, so he's gonna
absolutely should have been a Spice Girl.
And the show has this thing, and this is both RTD and Moffat, dancing villains.
Chibnall did that too with Sasha Dewan.
This is right. This is absolutely right. Yeah, I was maybe not Moffat then because I was the part where he's dancing around Unit's control room. I loved it. I'm sorry.
I did too.
It was so funny. I just love the idea of he's like an evil maniac and he has rules like the Saw movies. He's not just going to cheat. He's going to play fair, which he does.
But outside of the rules, he can be as big a dick as he wants to.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not just going to do it by snapping his fingers and making you grow small. He's going to do it in interpretive dance or something. He's not going to kill you. He's going to turn you into a bunch of balls.
I do love the bit where he turns the unit soldiers into balls, and then one of them, I think what's her name catches one of them, and his face is in the ball, and he screams, and she screams. I cracked up laughing at that bit.
But then the doctor says a little while after that, he says, "No, they're dead. You can't save them." This episode,
no, we're actually going to leave these into balls forever, and then we're going to cut a hole in the ball, and then he's going to be able to give someone head afterwards.
He still has a sort of.
I don't know where that came from, but okay. I don't know. I just imagine some of the balls probably floated out onto the edge of that platform as they do at a party.
Oh yeah.
They should have played the game at the end with the head ball.
Oh man.
It would have added a little extra edge to the scene,
Yeah.
But it probably would have distracted from, Shooty got was bulge.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a bulge there. He had nice legs, but not a bulge. See, this is where he
has fucking great legs.
Yeah. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
I also really, really love the scene where they go into the toy maker's lair. There is so much creepy imagery in there. If you hate puppets, this is not for you.
The bit where the wife puppet was walking out. I know they're trying to go for. I know they were trying to be creepy. It's this is fucking hilarious. I mean, it's creepy, yes, but I just found it funny, and it was that was well done. That I liked.
There was a shot where they show Neil Patrick Harris from below doing the I call them the Godfather puppets, but they're not. But the marionette puppets with his hair, with the clouds behind his head. If I saw a shot of that, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this shit? They're gonna fuck it up bad." But it's not. It's actually pretty cool. I really appreciated it.
But the one scene I think is probably the greatest scene for me was when he did the little puppet show with the Amy puppet and the Clara puppet and the Bill puppet, just basically saying, Stephen Moffat, you fuck things up. You think you had your justifications for why you wrote what you wrote. Well, that's all right, isn't it? And that was me right there. That was fucking me the last 10 fucking years of my Doctor Who podcasting career. And I just felt, thank you. I felt like I was seen.
Yeah. There was a lot of I felt like pretty much all three of us got a big pat on the back by that scene, oh, thanks for keeping the fucking flame alive, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. However, the unit scenes. I'm getting tired of unit. Yes, I get it. Mel works there now. That's great. I'm so glad to see her. She looks great.
No, thank God she was there to carry that box 20 feet. Where would they be without her?
No, she had more of a role.
Not really, dude.
No,
really.
she did. No, it wasn't. No, if it was, I mean, she was the one. Donna was actually the one. I mean, the whole thing. I think it would have worked.
The C chord.
Yeah, it would have worked if it was Mel who figured it out. That was an arpeggio. But then we have, they had Donna do it because basically she had to get the line about how she taught Rose how to play the recorder, and just like, this is just not me, which led to a whole different conversation after that. I mean, no, yeah, Mel, yeah, it was great seeing Mel again. I had a warm fuzzy when she came on, and we got, I mean, the Ulsters got a bit of continuity, Sabalon Glitz, R.I.P. He died by tripping over a bottle of booze. I
like that too. That fits. That tracks.
And I mean, and we get a little bit of like kind of not really backstory, but basically, I mean, Mel sort of like, I think she was like running away from whatever it was that she was running away from when she first met the Doctor, which of course we never fucking saw. And if there's going to be these spin-offs, and there's heavily hinted that there's going to be a unit spin-off.
Oh yeah, there is.
And I think Mel is going to come back to the show. So it would be nice to get a little, maybe RTD's like, okay, now I'm kind of fixing, I mean, I fixed Donna now. I fixed the fuck up I did with Donna. Now I'm going to fix the fuck up that Eric Sayward did when he brought in Mel in the middle of the trial, didn't explain how she came to be with the Doctor. And then I'm going to also correct what Andrew Cartmel did and just dropped her off for no reason. Well, that's all right, isn't it?
That's all right.
And maybe we'll get, it would be nice if we got some backstory and some character development from Mel.
I think we will, but I felt like she was kind of wasted in that. I mean, other than,
well, she got to pull the wishbone. She got to pull the wishbone at the end. Yeah.
But she's, I mean, other than just, the factor of Mel being back, and that's cool. And, here's a little bit of backstory. As far as the present story, she really didn't, she was just kind of there.
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about Ace and Tegan in the last one.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're going to see her again. And I don't think she's going to feature very heavily.
This is her second appearance in what? Technically 3 episodes?
As you've noted, she makes almost a cameo in the other episode. Here, she's not given much to do. I think they're just...
Look, it's a tall order. We've got a lot of shit that we got to fit in. This is the last of the specials.
I'm going to say something bad about the episode, something that didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Do I even have to mention how the fuck all this happened and what the puppet on the TV screen meant at the beginning? Can anybody explain that for me?
Yes, it was a C chord.
No, what it was basically this is kind of another. I'm not going to say Doctor Who's greatest hits because this wasn't great or a hit, but it reminded me a lot of The Silence, how they basically implanted the silence in the subconscious, and then we have this basically big commentary about how fucked up society is because everyone thinks they're right. And they're gonna, no one can, and because he's basically making a statement about the right versus the left, and like everyone is at loggerheads, and no one will compromise.
That is excellent, but that's not what we saw. If everybody was like that, first of all, I'm pretty sure they got Kate wrong. I'm pretty sure Kate doesn't think that redheads are coming or in some sort of collusion to come and get us. Okay.
Well, you don't know. You don't know. She might have had a traumatic experience with a redhead in her youth,
Or when she tells Shirley, I've seen you stand up. I have. And she says something. I don't think she meant those things that she was saying, which means she wasn't telling the truth, which means maybe they should have gone a little bit farther and made this like a rage virus instead of a thing that the toy maker created because he used the blah, 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 blah. I can't even explain it, and I watched it twice. There's some wicked shit. If you could just make people angry at people that they thought were wrong and just everybody turned into a bunch of Karens that you see on YouTube with the screaming and yelling and McDonald's or something. That's kind of what we saw. And I want to see more of that with Neil Patrick Harris, doing a mime act in the background. So I didn't appreciate all the gobbledygook, the technobabble, there's a laser, and there's a whole thing where they resolve something, and Neil Patrick Harris just sits there on the gun turret like, okay, I'm going to see what happens. Look at my package. You can see it. Then we get to the bioregeneration, which I'm tired of hearing, and I think it was one of you guys that mentioned it. I'm not sure that RTD said in an interview, like, oh, I'm going to do something that's going to reinvent the way that people think of Gallifreyan.
Yep.
Fuck this shit. I've heard this from a bunch of different people. Game changing. This will be game changing.
They've changed the game with regeneration like each of the last 5 fucking episodes.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, with that. I'm not going to take to the Twitters and talk to all my neighborhood homies about it. And then I did, however, I think maybe old Sean wouldn't have liked this, but the final scene where they're having is this a modern day picnic? For me, I think of my grandma's friends coming over and all they bring is casseroles, which I would love. But, he's sitting down and having, a picnic with them, and everybody's there, and it's kind of like, remember at the beginning of Roseanne, the TV show, it's kind of like that. But it's not going to last, because the Doctor is an adventure addict. He's going to be taken off at some point or another in the middle of the night, and he may never come back.
I have seen this. I have seen some explanation here. Some of it that Russell D. Davis has said. Basically, you got to focus on the line that the Shooty said is basically we're doing our therapy in reverse, and basically there's this sort of a theory that I read. I don't remember who, but basically it's kind of like a Watcher situation where
I hadn't thought that angle.
Where basically, okay, so David Tennant is going to take the slow path now. He's going to basically just relax. And this, for me, really kind of hit home for me. And that's why I think, for me, this was my favorite of the 3 specials. But the thing that really hit home for me was that he's done all of this work. He's done all this running around. He's never stopped. And finally, I mean, basically, Don, I've been trying to fucking tell you this all 3 episodes here. You need to fucking stop. You need to retire. I mean, not in so many words.
Here, smoke this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's like, no, I got my own. And he starts, but it just sort of hit really home to me, because it's like, I mean, I'm not retired. I'm still working, but I mean, we bought a house, and this is it for us. They're going to have to take us out feet first to get us out of here this time around. And I just feel like I finally got my life in order. I mean, this is kind of been a big year for me, really. I mean, I lost my dad. I got my job back, and we didn't think like 3-4 months ago we were going to buy a house, and we ended up buying a house, and it's just about perfect. And I just feel like, okay, well, this is what the rest of my life is going to be. And it can be a little bit mundane. The daily routine is already starting to sink in. We get up at 7, we have to pill the cat, and then
Darlene goes out and shoots some moles.
Yeah, she. Well, only if they were eating stuff off of her garden, she would probably do that. She killed palmetto bugs, more like. But
how the fuck do you shoot a mole anyways? They live underground. Sorry.
Yeah, well, he was shooting him from his wheelchair, because all wheelchairs have machine
rocket
guns,
launchers
apparently.
and shit.
Yeah,
they're all armed.
Exactly. Because I mean, he got he got put up by unit, so they probably gave him a wheelchair with the options there. But it just
that's a bad idea because they go to like the country market and then they go for the money and whoops, instead of getting the money, oops, I pressed the wheelchair ejection thing and then he's storming across the aisle and he ran over like 3 people and then there's a court case on it and then it's on TV and it's like Wilfred Mott, how did he get these weapons? And then there's all sorts of trouble. And
maybe it's from that big fucking building that has unit emblazed all over it, like it's a fucking tower.
You mean the big secret headquarters?
Headquarters.
Yes. Oh man, God, and I mean, I think David Tennant even aligns like, yeah, I remember. He says, "Kate, you know what? Your father worked so hard to keep this organization a secret, and you've just got it blaring out, for everyone to see here." I kind of like that bit, but I mean,
meme. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I want to finish this point before I forget. But basically, so David Tennant's doctor is basically he's taking the time to work out his shit.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time he is done working out his shit, at some point he will regenerate into Shudigatwa, and at that instant, he will go to that point in time and pick up from there. So when Shudi comes out, he's already dealt with all this shit, and it's like, you need to stop. I'm ready now because I've dealt with it because I'm you. You're just starting the journey. I've completed it. So I get to go. I'm going to go and go back out there and save the universe.
Are you suggesting that, however, undisclosed way this came to be, this was not, in fact, the 15th Doctor's beginning?
This is the 15th Doctor's beginning.
I thought you were saying like,
no.
It regenerates into him again later, and then somehow Shudigatwa goes back and into this moment and comes out of David Tennant.
Yes, he does. That's basically it. I mean,
okay.
that is Shudi's first moment, but in between all that, Tennant gets to live a life, gets to sort out his shit, gets to deal with it because the thing I love the fact that we got that much of Shudigatwa to begin with, because we've never gotten that much of a new Doctor in his predecessor's last story.
In more ways than one.
Okay. But I hope they continue this, but he is so well adjusted and just he's enjoying himself. He is confident.
I already love his doctor.
And he's just like, come on, let's hug it out, bro. Let's hug it out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh my God, I love you.
And I love the scene. So much sass when he kicks Tennant and Donna out of the fucking TARDIS, and he's just like, and now it's time for you to go, hits the button and just does this sassy little fucking point at the thing, and he's like, get
the fuck out.
That's like, what I love that. I think that's a key word, sassy, which is kind of gay.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'll take a gay, sassy doctor. Love it. Let's do it.
Well, that's what we got. But yeah, and then they have the conversation about we went through so much, like Sarah Jane died. Yeah, life goes on, and you still you still got a lot to kind of deal, because you never stopped. You just kept going and going and going. And I think maybe the reason why he kept going and going is like, if I stop, then I'm just going to fall apart. Well, he's got a family. He's basically got. He had a family for the first time, a real family since he left Gallifrey.
He's had opportunities many opportunities, though.
He has
to do this, but he's never taken them.
But no one gave him like, okay, it's okay for you to do this now. Mm-hmm. In fact, you should do this. It's like, follow your doctor's orders here. And Donna's just like, yeah, I've been trying to tell this shit to you for, ever since I've known you. You got to slow down. You got to stop. And
he only listens to himself.
Yes, but she was also him. Partly,
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
fair point.
And yes, this is kind of Doctor Who's greatest hits, because we had, Rose got her own doctor, and now Donna has her own doctor, but it's more of a brother-sister relationship, which is good. I'll take that. And we got Mad Auntie Mel, which was nice.
What does she do to deserve the mad thing? That's what I don't understand.
She was hooked up with Samuel Glitz. I think that would qualify.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is she talking about stuff she did back in Paradise Towers? Is she going to yell for it?
Yeah, she's been with Sabalon Glitz for years. She's seen some shit.
I mean, yeah. You think they were fucking, or do you think like it was a platonic? Pluto-platonic relationship.
I would.
I don't want to think about that.
I would wager there was probably a few drunken friends with benefits moments. That would be my guess.
That's great, because I'm going to be submitting that script.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like, does the carpet match the drapes? And she was like, well, does do you have the shave thing, the sideburns like on your pubes too?
Oh, there's an idea.
Oh no, I mean,
Chris gets out manscaping and just goes to town, man.
I never thought of sideburns. I got some stuff I'd like to say.
All right, Chris, the floor is yours.
The bi-generation thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I want them to just fucking have some kind of consistency with the regeneration thing, because it's whatever now,
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they keep one-upping it, it's just going to turn into the Doctor. Just every episode turns into whatever he happens to fucking need to be today. Which might be fun, but not what I'm here for. But that aside, I was kind of pissed off, and what you just said about it actually made me feel better about the whole thing. I was kind of pissed off because, one, I think the whole bringing back Mel and putting the 14th Doctor in rehab or retirement or whatever the fuck's going on there, I think they're just setting up spin-offs.
They definitely are. They totally are.
What the fuck is the Vlinks, and why should I even give a shit?
I know. Where did that come from? Darlene's like, is that Davros? It's like, no, that's not fucking Davros.
No one. I have no idea what that is.
Like, where did that?
And everybody's just.
It's like one step above. Mr. Smith. I need you.
Mm-hmm.
They should have fucking called it Mr. Smith. I would have just like, oh, okay. He actually became mobile.
That would be neat.
That would have been. You missed the trick there, RTD.
I was worried about after RTD's going to a very great lengths to make sure everybody knows he's very woke.
Oh yeah.
And then with the regeneration scene, it sets up. Now every fucking bigot out there can just completely fridge Shudi's Doctor and just say he's not the real Doctor, David Tennant's the real Doctor. Like he gave them the tool to fucking do that. And I don't like that. I once upon a time I thought bringing David Tennant back was an absolutely fucking stupid idea.
Mm-hmm.
In retrospect, it's like, you know what? That was actually pretty cool. That wasn't bad. But now they have everything they need to just fucking completely fridge Shudi. And I think that was a real fucking disservice. Probably not what was intended.
Right.
But I didn't like that. But your speech there made me feel a little bit better about shit.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that Shudi is, the first. Well, okay, I'm not going to say anything about Jo Martin. I mean, yeah, technically she was the first black person to play a Doctor. But
I know your feelings on pre-Hartnell Doctors.
Yeah, let's just not just pretend that never happened. A lot of not really well-rounded people are going to think, well, I mean, Tenant's out there, and they'll bring him back. I mean, Russell T Davies says he's not going to come back, at least not right away. But yeah, I can see that point. It's like, okay, you couldn't even first you couldn't get him to regenerate into Jodie's clothes, and now you do this thing where he's still split him in half.
And he's running around with no fucking bit. Yeah, I can't let him wear Jodie's clothes. That would be ridiculous. And here's Shooty Gatwa with no fucking pants on.
I mean, if you really want to press buttons, go all the fucking way. Don't pussy out. And it's just like you can't do both. It's like do one or the other. Don't be both. And
pick a side, pick a lane.
Exactly. But I mean, I'm going to. I mean, the whole thing is a magic trick. I mean, when you have the toy maker there, everything's out the fucking window.
Yeah. If you know anything about, I knew going into that just because they're including the toy maker in this. It's like there are no fucking rules,
right?
Except the game.
The game, but everything else, let's get this sledgehammer out and we'll bang it on the TARDIS. Pop out another TARDIS.
No, I didn't like that. I thought that was so dumb. It reminded me.
Pretty cheesy.
Yeah, it's like Toymaker. He's been, sequestered to this box. Oh, how do you know he just left a hammer underneath? Okay, you're just gonna. I would have gone.
Maybe because Tennant left it there while he was still dealing with this shit, and then
the Doctor has a symbiotic relationship with the TARDIS.
Yes. And I mean, I love the line where it's like, like he's considering like staying behind, but he's like, I can't leave the TARDIS, I can't do it, and it's just like trying to get off heroin.
Absolutely.
This. I'm sorry, I'm going back to the hammer.
Yeah.
If you had never known anything about Doctor Who, or seen Doctor Who before, and just maybe heard about it, and you decided to watch it, starting with the Star Beast. And then you got to that scene in the Giggle with the hammer, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is all believable up until then. And
you know what, though? I think that's kind of what the show's going to be from now on. They're not totally making it for us,
man. Basically, no, they're not. It's Rashi D has come out to say this is going to be pure fantasy now. I mean, it stopped being a hardcore science fiction show for a long, long time. And it's slowly crossed the path where it's basically it's fantasy, it's Disney.
Mm-hmm.
The Disneyfication of Doctor Who is happening right in front of our eyes. And
I have a prediction for that.
Okay, all right.
I got a lot of them right. You got to admit.
Yeah,
I think I'm not going to as to the race or gender or whatever the next Doctor's going to be. Mm-hmm. But there's like one fucking taboo left that they haven't broke.
Trans?
No, not that. But
child?
Okay, there's two. That would just be silly. Okay, all right. I'm poorly making my point here. I think the next Doctor's going to be an American.
Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta take my medication.
It's gonna happen, guys. It's going to happen. Maybe not the next one, but I think as soon as the next one, we're gonna have an American Doctor. And I believe Shooty's already said he's like, I'm doing 2 seasons and that's it.
Yes.
How could he say that? What if it's really good? And he becomes a huge star. I mean, I know everybody has more or less heard of Sex Education, but
I think he wants to go the route of being a huge star, not because he was Doctor Who. But
okay, well, Good luck with that, honey. Yeah, seriously, come on, do Hamlet when you're in your 60s. This guy office manager, he's got a 13-year-old girl. She's in Romeo and Juliet. Now I couldn't even imagine. Anyway, sorry, that's got nothing to do with this. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean, what you haven't really said much about this episode.
Well, no, I mentioned the fact that I really like Neil Patrick Harris. I like all the surreal stuff. I don't like Unit. Everything that Tenant said in Unit was just gobbledygook. It was all technobabble. I think the resolution, and I really was. I had a lot of trouble understanding what was going on in Wild Blue Yonder, which in a way makes me, I'm not, I'm invalidated because saying that it was the best one out of the three, if I didn't pay that much attention to it, but I really did pay attention to the Giggler and watched it twice with the subtitles on. I think that's important because he can get a little out of hand.
Oh yeah.
But I got the Shirley, you can't be serious comment. I appreciated that. I love that they're saluting 80s American comedy. It was kind of an above average episode. I appreciated the resolution. I was really afraid. I had really low expectations, though. I thought that since this was going to be a kind of RTD finale, that it would be a turd. It wasn't a turd. It was okay. It was fine. It was better than average, and I'm okay. But yeah. I think that he thought people would like it more than the other one, and I like the other one, that being Wild Blue Yonder, more. I don't think that The Star Beast is anybody's favorite. I'm sure there's kids out there that would disagree.
It had a lot of boxes it had to check, just being the first episode and shit.
Yeah. I think I'm at a point now in my advanced stage where I cannot get hung up on continuity, and I cannot get hung up on the mythology, and I'm certainly not getting worked up over the fandom. I mean, I'm just see little bits of stuff like from like YouTube videos that are posted, and it's like, oh yeah, I know what they're going to say about this and everything. But aside from mostly Harmless Cutaway, I have not listened to any other podcasters and what they thought, and I really have no interest in what Radio Free Skaro or 2 Minute Time Lord or Graham Burke think of this. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't either, and I absolutely refuse to listen to anybody's opinion before I've sort of formed my own. It's very tempting, and I get pissed off at Steve. He says he's not going to watch it. He's not going to watch it, and then what he does is he turns around, he goes on YouTube and watches all the criticism about it.
Yeah, and
then he comes back to me. He says, "Well, what about this and that?" I'm like, "Well, what I want to say is, why don't you just fucking watch it?"
Yeah, exactly.
Here's
Make
my
up your own mind.
Here, I know you're unemployed, more or less, so here's my password and my username. Just go in and watch it. You may like it. And it's like he's sort of like on some sort of like Gandhi Doctor Who strike. He's having a fanboy tantrum, and I have no problem.
See, I have no patience with that, with myself or with anyone else. It's like, if you're going to give up on Doctor Who, then give up on Doctor Who, but just shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, it's kind of. They're, like I was saying, we're old white guys and we've watched the whole run of this shit, and it's we're old. No one gives a fuck what we think anymore. This isn't our show now, and I kind of feel like people just gotta fit. The older white guys, or just older fans in general. It's not our show anymore. It's something new. It's something different, and it's kind of like. We either got to adjust to it and learn to, if not love it, at least appreciate it, or just walk away.
Yeah, and I think I got to the point where it's like, okay, it's a show, one of many shows that I watch. I for the most part, I enjoyed it. I love the fact that I was actually able to sit down and watch it on my own television and not have to pirate it and watch it on my laptop anymore. And I can just watch it whenever I want. I love the fact that most of the classic episodes are on Tubi now, and I can just go in and watch. I watched part 1 of Talons last night before bed. It's just having it at your fingertips. It's great. You don't have to dig out the DVDs. I can appreciate it. I can enjoy it, but I'm not going to base my entire life on it the way a lot of fans and podcasters do. This show doesn't define me anymore. Yes, I am known by a lot of like all my friends in the geek circle as the Doctor Who expert. I was introduced as such when I guested on Caffeinated Comics this week. But that doesn't define who I am anymore. It did 10 years ago, but not anymore. I just host this. I just co-host this silly podcast with a clever name, and I do this. I mean, this is my monthly therapy session with you guys, and it's the way we all kind of work out our own shit while we're just being silly, and whether we do like commentaries, and I'm sure there's going to be more commentaries to follow in the new year and other stuff. I mean, Chris worked up something which we'll probably won't get to until we're done with this new series of Doctor Who.
Oh, that's why I'll work on it more. I'll flesh it out
you'll probably have more material by the time we're ready to do it.
Dude, there was a lot more work this than I thought there would be, but
I'm sure there is.
I'm proud of what I've done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to doing that. But I mean, I enjoy dissecting it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to put it away. I'm going to put my dissection tools away. I'm going to put it in a drawer, and I'm going to go and do something else. I'm going to work on music. I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on building a life-size Darth Vader that's going to stand on the corner of my room here. It's going to take me a year to do, but I'm going to fucking do it.
Some moles.
I'm going to shoot some fucking moles.
You've lost your fan entitlement, as people would say.
Yeah, and thank fuck for that. And thank fuck for that, because I think I'm a more healthy person now.
Right.
I feel like I'm a recovered fanboy, or is it fangirl? Because they kind of mean different things that don't have to do with. Anyway, go ahead. Chris.
I'm a fan. The fan.
I am the fan.
No, I didn't have anything more to say. Just it's not our show. On one hand, that makes me kind of sad, but on the other hand, it's like we're of that age. It's like it's time to let the kids fucking have it, man.
And it's not like they took the show away. We still have the old show, and I mean
they're just not doing it to make us happy anymore.
Well, they're throwing bits at us to make us happy. They threw in Mel. We're
living on scraps from now on.
We are, and this is fine. It's fine. I mean, we're entering the third phase of Doctor Who now, because this is going to be season 1, and it's for me, it's the golden age from 63 to 89. The silver age was 2005 till the end of Jodie. And then we're now in the Bronze Age. So we're 2 steps removed from the show that we fell in love with when we were teenagers. It was fine. It was enjoyable. It was a nice sort of. It's kind of like when they brought back David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson for like the last 2 seasons of X-Files after so many years. It's kind of like, oh man, remember when we used to get together on Sunday nights and watch this on Fox 90 so fucking hard? Do that. Yeah, it was an event. And Doctor Who, watching David Tennant's second series, third series, fourth series. Third, yeah. It was an event, and this was basically event television. It's like it brought me back. It brought back those warm, fuzzy feelings I had. And that's the whole thing. It's like we're trying to capture our youth. We're trying to, because I mean, today's world sucks. I mean, I guess it's always sucked, but it really sucks now. And it's like we do everything we can to suck right now. It's basically our warm, fuzzy blanket that reminds us of our time in our youth when we didn't have so many worries. We didn't have to stress out over everything, and we were we were secure, and it really kind of centers me. I mean, I am looking forward to what Ncuti Gatwa has to offer. I hope he keeps playing the role as a confident Doctor. He's certainly not
I
a
think
carbon.
he's going to be fucking fantastic.
I think so too. And I hope he doesn't play it as, I don't know who I am, and am I a good person,
Right.
or anything like that.
We're
It's
all
like, no,
tired of the maudlin routine.
we really are. We really, really fucking are. And I just want this person to be sassy. I want him to be a bit dangerous, and I want him to be fun, because the Doctor has not been fun.
You know
For
what?
a
Don't
long
even
time.
put pants on. Fuck it.
Did somebody say sassy? Phil Hartman from Old Saturday Night Live.
And you got to give it to Shooty. I mean, no other Doctor can, in their regeneration can say they came in swinging with no pants and grabbing balls. I mean, that's a fucking entrance, boys.
What do we think of the new TARDIS interior?
Oh, that was
Love
fine. Yeah, love
Adore
it.
it.
Love it. I'm 50.
Agree
I
with
love it.
Shooty's assessment. You probably want to get a couple chairs, but other than that, beautiful. Although it missed one fucking thing.
Okay.
I want the coat rack. The coat rack needs to be in there.
Okay, well, let's have him put some clothes on first, and then we'll find,
Right? Gotta have
it's like-
a fucking coat.
it's like
first,
a
I
gun
guess.
rack. I don't own a gun. Not
Right.
not miniguns to necessitate a gun rack. So let him get himself his wardrobe, and then we'll put a fucking hat stand.
Fair
there.
enough. But kudos to him for going to the jukebox or the wardrobe.
Yeah, because Disney's got enough money to pay for licensing for
Right.
whatever's going to be played on that fucking jukebox.
Yeah. I am okay with some more dance routines.
Well, he's got enough room to do it, If Mel's going to be there,
Definitely.
if she can just put her tap dance shoes on.
Oh, God. Please, can we just all rein ourselves back in?
God, you guys killed JB. Totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Welcome to my world.
We were talking about the TARDIS interior and people.
Oh, yeah, it's great. For the most part, every time they come out with a new TARDIS interior, I don't have a problem with it. My favorite still remains the McGann movie. I'm sorry, I still go back to that.
No, that's a
I
good
think
one.
that's gonna remain for a lot of people.
Yeah. And
Mine
I-
was the Fourth Doctor's alternate control room, the wood paneled one.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like the 12 Doctors library type thing.
Really?
This current one looks really cool and all that, but I prefer the homey, bookcasey,
Yeah.
dubious
Yeah,
thing
no,
is
I do.
flashy sci-fi stuff.
Anything is an improvement over the fucking 13th Doctor's TARDIS. That was. I tried really hard to like that, and I don't. It was bad.
It just looked like a stage setup for Yes. I kept expecting the band to come out and start, playing Close to the Edge every
Right.
time they had that fucking set.
It did have kind of a prog rock vibe to it, didn't it?
It did. It did.
Why am I telling this story? Because sometimes you gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them, and when to end the podcast. You've got to count your money. When the chibnall hits the table. Okay, Jesus, I'm so sorry. Okay, what's going on now? We're ending this, right?
You need time to heal, Sean.
Yeah, you need to stop. You need to stop podcasting.
No, I'm on number 3 right now.
Ever since TARDIS Tavern and the book club and Cutaway, you've just never stopped, and it's time for you to heal, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like Shirley. Sorry,
okay,
I don't think I was making the correct noises.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Oh dear God!
Just sounded decidedly unpleasant.
It just sounded like you sounded kind of like a pig slave there.
Pig slave is my Saturday night name.
Oh, wait a minute! It's a Disney. If it's a Disney thing, you can't say slave anymore because it's going to be like.
Oh shit! Oh
yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
Canceled. We're gonna be canceled.
It's not the slave one anymore. It's not the slave costume that Carrie Fisher wore anymore. You can't call it that.
Canceled. We're gonna be canceled.
Direction point. Direction point.
A Doctor Who podcast network.